Let's have a little chat. I mean, we've been putting up all these Overwatch hero videos for the past week or so. Shout out to everyone who's been helping put that together. Chris Waters, Mary Kish, Jean-Luc in the back helping me edit them as well. Good times. But let's talk about, I guess, our favorite characters between the three of us. What are the characters that have spoken to us? Maybe a character that you didn't really like originally, but you sort of grown to love. Mike Mahardy, you first of all. Who do you want to get the ball rolling with?
The Crushing Russian, dude. As I just made up. Yeah, she's my favorite character.
She's real difficult to learn.
Yeah, she's a blend of a lot of different roles. She's like a support role kind of by projecting shields on other people and herself, but then you have to consider the fact that you're mainly doing that not just to shield people because they're pretty quick. They dissipate after like only a few seconds, but that's mainly to buff her Tesla cannon's damage, which that itself is also super different in how you can use it because it's a close range, like just concentrated laser, which if you and someone next to you are both taking damage with shields, that thing's going to be pretty powerful.
Right.
But it's also a grenade launcher that has a little, it's less of an arc than like Junkrat's grenade launcher. Not as powerful as Junkrat's grenade launcher, or it's about as powerful, but it's not as high fire rate. So then you have that to consider, but then you also have her Graviton Surge, which is probably my favorite ult because
it's devastating if you can pull it off.
It's not good by itself. I mean, it can be if there's like two people and then you start grenade launching if they don't know what's going on because they're not defenseless. They can still shoot you and do some of their abilities. But
most of the time, I find they just freak out.
Yeah,
they just know what's going on.
Like everyone, it's okay. You can still do stuff.
but like I said, if you use Hanzo's ult to just shoot the arrow straight into them, both dragons tear them apart. If like PHARAH's just normal rocket launcher against them is great. Junkrat just launching the grenades into it. She's such a weird blend of these different roles that every time I play, I think about her on these different layers, and especially like when you consider the map and how your team composition and your opponent's composition factors into it. I don't know. I play her differently every time, and it's really fun.
That's awesome. Tell you what about yourself. Who do you warm to on the battlefield of Overwatch?
Gotta go Mei all day.
Mei
all day. She's a fun one. She does so many things. And I just gravitate to characters that can kind of support and heal themselves as well. So like you don't always have to depend on the healer. So she can ice block. She doesn't take damage. She heals herself. On top of that, you can technically use that to block off shots. Like if there's a high noon, if you want to get really fancy, it's like, all right, ice block, hide behind me because he can't high noon you.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And then you got the wall she can make to, either kind of move around to higher grounds or just to kind of mess with the other team. You wall them off, you block them off. I've blocked like a Junkrat tire before. I've blocked a Diva charging in before. It's just like, nah, you're not going to buy that. Or, like if you
like shutting it down.
Yeah, exactly. Or, you can really use it to split a team, sometimes just like get the healer, like trap them, and both of her, her primary ability on her gun and her secondary ability on her gun are both amazing. The first one's just kind of like a, like a little blow dryer type effect, but with ice, it's like, all right, you're frozen. Now I get to just right click icicle you in the head and you're probably dead.
It's like
or
surprisingly powerful.
Yeah.
Like you can destroy a Reinhardt pretty good with that.
It's so annoying to play against that too, right?
It's so frustrating because the minute she starts doing it, you're just like running away.
I hate when people play Mei well against me. It's the most infuriating thing.
And then her like icicle is like good to finish people off that you freeze because like easy headshot, or it's good for like mid-ish, like almost semi-long range. Like I've tried to out-snipe a Widowmaker, even though it's like not a good idea, but it's kind of fun to try. Yeah. And her ult's another like kind of like fun wombo combo type thing where it's really good for, stopping payloads or like, like really controlling a capture point, because when you throw it, it's like that whole like radius is going to be frozen. Yeah. You don't want to be in that. So then it's like, well, they're not going to come here, or totally if they do, your whole team gets to just, it's free pickings at that point. They're all frozen. Like, great.
You can combo that with the wall in some interesting situations as well. Just like block their exit and then dump it on them in the middle. Speaking of Widowmakers, man, I love Widowmakers so much. Like, I'm such a huge Team Fortress. Like, if you were to, they give you the stats of like how long you played each character in Team Fortress 2. My sniper is just like all the way up here. And what I loved about him with Overwatch is that sniper had two different weapons. He had the straight up like sniper rifle, but he also had the crossbow, which is basically what Hanzo is. So Hanzo's good fun as well. But man, Widowmaker's just like so much fun because I just think there's something about it because there's always these big fracas and because there's these long lanes and you're essentially watching a lot of people having fights pretty far away, you can like just dispense so much sadness on an opposition team by having a good Widowmaker, by just like getting headshots, by taking out turrets, by like having them constantly worried where they are. like all the time, especially if their other team doesn't have a sniper who's either, you know, cleaning up your Widowmaker or giving them like the sort of infrared sight. She's just so powerful if you can pull it off right. You can get into interesting positions. The grappling hook allows you to like bail out of places real quick if you need to. You can change where you are all the time. The ability to like charge up the shot. I mean, charging up the shot and getting a headshot it's just like the most satisfying thing ever. And then just popping away at people when you've got like 50% charge just to knock their health down. She's just like, part of me feels like in the right hands, a Widowmaker can win a game. Like, just
definitely
destroy people. Like we had some interesting games last night where I felt like I was like doing some good widow making. I was like one game where I was 86% of the game on fire or something. And it was only because these folks didn't know what to do, right? And the only counter I feel that's really good against her is either a really good PHARAH who's able to flank and dump down some shots, or an opposition widowmaker. And then it becomes like Counter-Strike because you're like having this headshot hunt, right? Where you're like, I need to get the headshot because you're going to get it. I think she's absolutely fantastic.
I've been switching to Reaper to counter her lately.
All right.
And I'm not the best Reaper player. Tay, I think you're the more experienced Reaper player. But yeah, just warping up next to her is the most satisfying thing. And if you do it right, she's not going to see like you come from like behind cover right up next to her and you just are the shotgun's pointed at her head right there. Yeah, that's like figuring out the counters in this game is so fun too, because like PHARAH is tough. Like, really tough. You need some skill to take down PHARAH in the air for most characters. But yeah, I don't know. Like McCree's another character. He's probably my second favorite main.
Yeah, what do you like about him?
He's just a dirty player, and I love that. Like once you figure out the loop between, not that it's the same loop every time, because I think that almost falls into a trap of being, okay, flashbang, fan the hammer, dodge, automatic reload, fan the hammer, maybe die or walk away. But if you do it right, you know when to just use the primary single shot, which is really precise. And I think they nerfed it since the first early access because it was pretty...
the single shot? Yeah, it was like too far. I think the range got a little nerfed because it was like straight up Deagle Counter-Strike.
Totally. I mean, like we were talking to Jeff Kaplan about it. He said that at one stage McCree was basically long range, mid range, and short range. Yeah. And it's funny you say Counter-Strike Deagle because the gun is actually modeled after the Colt in Half-Life 1.
Oh.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that Desert Eagle, that Colt, Colt Python, I think it was?
Cobra? No, Python.
Yeah. And it has that same kickback as well, which is such a great feeling. You're like playing 1998 Half-Life, blowing people up with this thing.
That's the best thing. And well, also you have his Deadeye, which you're weird. I showed you the highlight this morning. I was pretty proud of it. What map was that? Was it Dorado maybe? Or it was the neutral control point mode, but I walked up the stairs, and usually you want to start Deadeye from pretty far away because you're vulnerable as hell. He doesn't have much health to begin with, and he's moved slowly. But if you time Deadeye right and you come around the corner, and I saw 3 people locked on because I was pretty close, killed those 3, came around the corner, Soldier 76 came out of the control zone in overtime, flashbang him, fan the hammer, we like pretty much won. Like that's that kind of loop with him that I love. But he's still you have to be practice with him, right? Because he's really vulnerable, and you need to know the timing and when to use primary, when to fan the hammer. Because if you don't have that dodge roll ready, the reloads like the reloading the 6, snapping the chamber back in. Yeah, he just feels awesome.
And that's the same reason I love PHARAH, because it's a similar kind of thing where you can very easily get killed very quickly with her if you don't protect yourselves from like turrets and widowmakers. But apart from that, if you can like get a handle on them and you know where not to jump in the air like super early, you can just like rain death on people all the time. It's like getting above groups of people when they're fighting each other and just landing rockets down, like flanking widowmakers and taking them out. Taking out turrets from miles away because your rockets are so powerful and they're so far away that you can just like, I don't know, she's able to control long range people. And then also like my favorite part in this map we're showing now, when you can get inside of that area or inside of any of these areas and fly up into the air inside of the control point and just kill people, you're just jumping up, hovering, and then jumping up, hovering, and just rockets and rockets and rockets, and like people don't have an answer for it. I mean, the only answer is either a decent sniper or a turret. So it's so much fun. What about you, Eric?
It is a thing of beauty. I watched you playing this morning. I was like, oh, okay, I got to steal some of these maneuvers because like you know you can rocket jump and hover, but like I watch you play and it's like, oh, this is like a whole different animal. But I'm gonna name a character that I didn't think I would like, but then I think I'm starting to like, and I was even more jealous today when you got the I think it was like the Ifrit Zenyatta skin, because like I got that at the end of beta, and I was like, oh, I gotta play him now that I have that skin, right? Like, and I think that's part of the hook of the skins is like you get another character, kind of makes you want to play that character. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that looks really cool. I should try it. And you wouldn't think to play it. Anyways, I didn't think I like him. He's pretty low health. He's like 75 health and like 75 shield.
Yeah.
But his Discord orb, which is basically a debuff on the opposing enemies, like it just makes them like nothing. It's like, oh, you're a Reinhardt? Not really. Not anymore.
It's armor, right?
Yeah, it's armor. But he's deceptively strong, I think, like offensively too, because he can like his orbs can go pretty far. I like outsniped the Widowmaker. I'm guessing she was bad, but like with Zenyatta.
I mean, we had a run on the live stream earlier today where Chris played Zenyatta, and you were playing with him. Actually, you were Reinhardt in that map, and he just destroyed everyone. I've never seen anything like. I didn't realize that this guy was so. He's the most like offensive support character by a mile. He was destroying everyone. He was debuffing everyone and then just like pounding those balls.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, the distance. Yeah, pound those balls, man. I didn't realize the distance you get on those things. Like he was doing that.
He can get, it's like pretty long range.
Yeah.
And so like he's pretty vulnerable when you get up close to him, but his best like kind of maneuver is his right click. He basically charges like 5 balls and then he just lets it all rip.
So you can like take out turrets with that and everything.
Yeah, so you just like kind of queue it up, especially like if a Widowmaker's got the infrared, you kind of queue it up before you round the corner. Yeah, surprise.
Boom, totally, yeah. Because she hasn't got that much health either. If you can
and his ult's just amazing because like you have to respect it. Like when he's ulting, it's like, okay, I guess the whole team's just gonna get healed for like a lot, and they're gonna have this control point, and we don't know what to do. I think Chris had the best like scenario where it's like the Reinhardt just kind of like pins him away, but like you don't take damage, but like that takes the heal away from the rest of it. But that's a crazy
The only
counter.
other thing I could think is a concussion blast with PHARAH, just to like nail,
punt him off.
Yeah. But that then doesn't
Like
even
LÚCIO coming in,
right.
or something.
Lucio's great. Yeah,
because LÚCIO, if he's healing everybody, he not when he drops the beat, but when he does the
let's break
raise
it down.
the roof.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Or, whatever it's called. He's vulnerable. You can still kill him while he's doing that. Same with Mercy. You can kill her whenever.
Right.
You just have to say, shit, they're going to be healed. So you have to do something concussive to get him out of there.
Yeah.
There you go. Overwatch. That's some of our favorite characters. Let us know what yours are in the comments below. I mean, that's the most exciting thing about this game is that like everyone's got a different one, and it's not just based on some stupid aesthetic thing, or we're not like forcing it. It's like it's a genuinely just these characters are just so well created, like both in terms of how they look, but also just gameplay wise, so unique.
Like each of us here and most people playing the game probably look at Overwatch completely differently because they have different favorite characters. The game looks so much different from a Widowmaker's perspective than it does from a Winston. That's why the game.
I play PHARAH and Widowmaker. I'm basically playing Team Fortress. I'm a soldier or the sniper. Like I'm playing the same people I've always played in video games. I'm playing Quake and I'm playing Counter-Strike. Like it's crazy.
I think too the reason why it's kind of like you have memories too. I think like there are like not even just play the games, but you have all these memorable scenarios of like, okay, you're gonna remember that high noon you did, right? Like for a while now. And I think as long as it keeps creating these memories, it makes it like even a more long-lasting game because you always like those are things you want to talk about. Like, oh yeah, it was me and I did this, and that's kind of like what makes this game fun. It's like every day something different can happen, but you'll remember that and it'll be like, oh, that was awesome.
Yeah. Crazy stuff.